Hello everybody, Fun Richard with 25 albums that are better than In Rainbows by Radiohead or 1001 other albums you must listen to before you die. Now before I get started, my last video, I was so overwhelmed that it was actually sponsored by Germany, a country, no doubt, that I forgot to shout out Static Traveler, who's the one that started this whole thread. And I'm going to leave a link to his video in the description. Watch it and subscribe to this guy. And I'm also going to leave a link to Gatefold 33, who did his version, and I found it hilarious. If you're familiar with him, you'll know why it's hilarious. I mean, I can't remember how long the video is, but I would say 3/4 of it is the introduction. And it's, if you know him, it's hilarious. Now, I'm going to keep it to 25 this time because I want to try and, because of the length of the video. I could have done 30 easy. I could do another 100. I could actually write a book, 1001 other albums you should listen to before you die. I mean, it's so vast out there. And I've been enjoying all the entries. But we're going to get started. We're going to jump right into it. I mean, this one here almost made this list. If it would have been 30, this one would have been in there. But anyways, first album we're eliminating after lots of thought. We're getting rid of Radiohead, In Rainbows. Now it's an album of abstract sounds. It's a little less Yorkie than a lot of their others, which is a good thing. But I'm going to replace it with another album of abstract sounds, and I think it's superior. It's Big Science by Laurie Anderson. Just a fantastic album. I saw her live, and it was such a great visual and musical. I mean, it was sight and sound show. It was fantastic. Okay, who's next? Pink Floyd, The Wall. I don't know if I've ever gotten through that whole album all the way through, you know? To be quite honest. It has some great songs on it. It's pretty much sticking to the formula of Dark Side of the Moon, which I think they got kind of stuck. I mean, that was so popular, it was kind of hard not to, but they got kind of stuck in that routine. And I'm going to replace it with an album that came out around the same time. And I'm surprised it isn't in the list. At least I didn't see it in the original book. And it's Los Angeles by X. Their second album, Wild Gift, is in the book. But this is a far superior album. In fact, I think the best songs from Wild Gift are leftovers from this or songs they were performing, you know, before this even came out. But yeah, this is a fantastic album. Great debut. X, Los Angeles. Okay, who's the next loser? Well, it's a trio. And the album is Trio. It's Emmylou Harris, Dolly Parton, and Linda Ronstadt. Now, the album might be great. Emmylou Harris, I think her voice is very thin. I don't like Dolly Parton's voice. Linda Ronstadt is a great singer, but I don't have to hear that. But I'm going to replace it with this Linda Ronstadt album. Canciones de mi Padre. All songs sung in Spanish. And her voice is just spectacular, man. Just a fantastic album. Next one, Aerosmith, Pump. Now, Aerosmith in the 80s, they had a big resurgence. And I saw them in the 80s, and it was an underwhelming show, actually. Now, this band This album isn't from the 80s, but it's kind of a straight ahead rock. And I think it's a way better album. And it's the Allman Brothers' debut. And this is fantastic, man. It's got Whipping Post, Trouble No More. It's basically got 3 songs on each side. And this pumps ass. Okay, what's next? We got Bob Dylan, Time Out of Mind. Now, this is the beginning of the downfall of Bob Dylan. I mean, some of his more recent albums, he's had members of Los Lobos playing on the albums and, great music. But man, as soon as that voice comes in, it's horrible. And anybody that says they like it, they're just trying to talk themselves into something that isn't there. And on Halloween, I play Santa's Coming to Town, or Here Comes Santa Claus by Bob Dylan. And it scares the bejeebies out of the kids. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus. Oh my God. And I'm going to replace it with another Bob Dylan album, New Morning. Now this one's a little bit different than most of his other albums at this time. It's a piano-based songs. Here's a picture in the back. But it's one great song after another, with the exception of one. There's one song, and is it Father of Night? There's one song in here on side 2 that great album, man. Great album. Okay. Who's next? Another classic album. The Byrds, Sweetheart of the Rodeo. Overrated album. People say, oh, it ushered in country rock. When pretty much it's mediocre country songs. I don't hear much rock in it, And I'm going to replace it with another Byrds album, The Ballad of Easy Rider. This album has a kind of an acoustic flow to it. It's a fantastic album. And it's one that most people overlook. It starts out with a Ballad of Easy Rider. Then it has Fido, fantastic song with I think like a 5-second, maybe less than 10-second drum solo, which is just about right as far as drum solos go. Then it's got Oil in My Lamp. And I think my favorite is Deportee and Gunga Din on side 2. Just a fantastic album, man. The Byrds. And before I go much further, I want to thank everybody that commented or watched, and especially those that commented. Even those that, came up with I had a couple that were real negative, but it's fine, it's fine. If you don't get the joke, you don't get the joke, I'm not hating on Radiohead. Come on. Okay, the next one here. Kanye West. I probably shouldn't even have explained myself, Kanye West. Yeezus? I don't know. I haven't heard this. I don't want to hear it. It's probably got that computer vocal sound that's so prevalent in a lot of the pop nowadays. And it's a goner. And I'm going to replace it with Melody. Echo Chamber. Yeah, Melody's Echo Chamber. Just a fantastic album. It's got a modern sound to it. Kind of echoey, like the name implies. And I think she's from Australia. But anyways, just a fantastic song. And this is worth being on the list. Or you should listen to this just for the song Crystallized. Just a fantastic modern album that old fart likes. Next one. Brian Wilson, Smile. Now, this came out, 15 years ago? I don't know, whatever. Little kind of late to the party, if you ask me. It's a shame that he didn't go through with this concept back in the 60s, but he didn't. And this revisionist stuff, I don't know. But I'm going to replace Smile with a modern psychedelic classic, Temples. Sun Structures by Temples. Just a fantastic album. The first time I heard this, I was kind of blown away. Now, there's albums following this. It's like stale beer. What's next? Beyonce, self-titled. Now again, I haven't heard this album. As I mentioned in the previous video, I did see Destiny's Child live, and Beyonce can't sing. I'm going to tell you right now. Now, even with the trickery and all that, I mean, some of her songs are kind of, catchy and that, but she doesn't have the voice of, say, a Rihanna. I mean, she just doesn't. And I'm going to replace her with a Courtney Barnett, who you could also argue doesn't have a great voice, but man, does she know how to write good, catchy songs. And this is the double EP, A Sea of Split Peas. And what this is, it collects her first EP and her second EP. And I woke up the kitty. Hi, kitty. Okay. What's the next one? Don McLean, American Pie. I mean, that song is okay. I don't know. The album is even a little less than American Pie, but I'm going to replace it with Terry Reid, River. Just a fantastic album. Side 1 of this is great. Side 2 starts out great, and then the last 2 songs are kind of very acoustic-y, very dreamy, and it's kind of weird, man. This album starts out at such a high point, and it kind of, I mean, Dream, the second song on side 2, it's an acoustic number, but it's very good. I think the weakest song is the last song on the album, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's way better than American Pie. Let me let the cat out. Kitty. The Beach Boys, Pet Sounds. It's a goner. Now, half of that record is great. The other half, man, it's just like Debbie Downer music, dude. It's just like, I just can't get into it. And I've tried. I had a CD of it, and it had a mono version and the stereo version. And I had that in my car for at least 2 weeks. And that's all I listened to. And it's, now, and I'm going to replace it with an album that isn't perfect either. And it's the Rolling Stones, their Satanic Majesty's Request. Now, this could have been the best psychedelic album ever. And I mean that. It starts out with Sing This All Together, which is a pretty cool intro, The last song on side 1, Sing This All Together, See What Happens, is a pretty long jam, almost 8 minutes. And for me, that was something you could get rid of. But I really dig that song now. I really do. So I would leave it in, warts and all. But the last song on side 2, On With the Show, it's a turd. And what's so sad is, at the time they had the song Dandelion, would have fit right in here somewhere. We Love You would have been a great way to end this. The song they did with John and Paul singing background vocals. And then they had the psychedelic song, Child of the Moon. I mean, work those 3 songs into this, and this would have been the best psychedelic album ever. Okay, what's next? The Beau Brummels or however, They're okay, but come on. And I'm going to replace that with a great psychedelic masterpiece. J.K. and Company, Suddenly One Summer. This is a fantastic album. And what's surprising about this album, only a few of the songs have electric guitar, but it's a very spacey and dreamy album. The first song, Break of Dawn, and then it goes into Fly. That's the song. And talk about an album, a song you need to hear in stereo. Man, it goes, he starts singing the verse and it's on this ear and then it goes to this side and back. And it's just a psychedelic masterpiece. And this guy that made this, I think he was like 17 years old or something, you know, it was a teenager. And it's just fantastic. Next one. Now, this is an album that I think's, it's not a bad album, but come on. The Monkees' Headquarters. And I'm going to replace it with Kaleidoscope, A Beacon from Mars. LA Kaleidoscope. Now, if I had the UK Kaleidoscope, I would probably include that somewhere in this video, but I don't have that. This is the most versatile band in music, I think, at this time. And they're maybe a little too versatile by including the song Louisiana Man. But what really makes this album so great are the last songs on each side. You got Taxum, it's like an 11.5-minute song. And then you got Beacon from Mars, which is like a 12.5-minute song. And they're just psychedelic masterpieces. And it's just fantastic, man. And it has a Greenwood Sidey. It's kind of like a Irish folk song or something, it sounds like to me, you know, and it's fantastic, man. About this lady goes out murdering people. Okay, well, who's the next loser? Now, another album I don't think it's a bad album. It's one that I've picked up in the last year or two. It's Small Faces, Ogden's Nut, Gone Flake. Now, like I said, it's not a bad song or bad album. But man, the narration on side 2 kills it. And I'm going to replace it with West Coast Pop Art Experimental Band Volume 3. Now, this is a great LA band. And I don't think that name for your band did them any favors. But yeah, this is a child's guide to good and evil. Just a fantastic psych album. Now, I could have picked Volume 2 also. They're very neck and neck to me on which one's better. But yeah, I went ahead and chose this one. This is the one I'm more familiar with, the one I've had the longest. And it's a great psychedelic album. Okay. The next one. Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Pictures at an Exhibition. Now, I never owned this one. My cousin did, so I'm familiar with it. But it was a little, I even thought back then it was a little indulgent. I mean, I liked the first, I don't have it anymore. I purged it because I'm not going to listen to it anymore. Their debut, the one with Old Lucky Man. I had Tarkus, and I had Brain Salad Surgery. But I've since purged them. Now, this album, it's not the same, but it came out around the same time. And this is definitely an album that everyone should listen to at least once in their life before they die. Miles Davis on the corner. As always, they always got a cool picture of Miles, you know? But yeah, this is a fantastic album, man. Sitars. This is a psychedelic jazz fusion album, man. It is great. Now, the only thing about this album, side 1 starts with On the Corner, and it's like the album starts like in the middle of a song. It's really weird. But yeah, it is what it is. Okay, who's next? Emmylou Harris, Pieces of the Sky. Now, I watched uh, a DVD. It was Neil Young, and he was singing. And Emmylou Harris was like a background singer, and she was so great. And she's been a background singer for Graham Parsons and that. But after seeing that Neil Young video, and it was like a concert, but I don't know if it was recorded in Nashville. I don't know if it was with those Gator guys or whatever, but it was fantastic. And I went to Amoeba Records that next week or so, and I bought probably 6 or 7 of her CDs from the 70s. And most of them I was able to get used. They were pretty cheap. And I was kind of blown away at how thin her voice sounded. I mean, as a background singer, she was fantastic, but out front, trying to carry the thing, for me, it didn't work. I might be in the minority, but whatever. But I'm going to replace her with Jackson Browne and The Pretender. Now, this guy can sing. Now, I think this is his best album. It's the one I go to. It's just got one great song after another, man. And the song Linda Paloma actually brings tears to my eyes. Now, I know they say grown men shouldn't cry, but I'm going to tell you a true story. My wife and I took the kids to see the Pokemon movie. And when Ash turned to stone, I actually started tearing up, man. I actually did. Okay, who's next? Gorillaz, self-titled. Come on, cartoon characters. And I'm going to replace them with a real band. Nod. And this is Charterlawn Volume 1. Just fantastic, hard-hitting, drony music. It's fantastic, dude. It's as good as that cover. Yeah, it's great. Ay, come on, Furby. Okay, who's next? Foo Fighters, self-titled. Now, this album's not bad, but I don't think it's essential. And I'm going to replace it with an album that came out probably, I think, 2002. And it's Leftover Crack, Fuck World Trade. I think this band merged punk and ska better than any of those 90 bands that were doing it. Just fantastic, hard-hitting music. This is a great album. And they go from punk to ska like flawlessly, in my opinion. The next one, System of a Down, self-titled. Now, this is a pretty trippy album, man. It's kind of like hardcore Frank Zappa, you know? The songs are always changing tempos and back and forth, and I think a little too much to their detriment. So they're off the list. And I'm replacing them with Nod, Charterlawn Volume 2. Fantastic. Again, I have to be in the mood to listen to Nod. I mean, even though their albums are all, they have different types of albums. This one is in that hard rocking, very, I love the guitar player for this guy. I think he's a very original guitar player, which it actually is kind of hard to do nowadays. But they get into a groove. It's very drony. And yeah, it's fantastic. If you're in the right frame of mind, it's just mind-blowing. Okay. Now, in my last video, I eliminated the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it was supposed to be Blood Sugar Sex Magic. And I had a list, and I can't remember. Red Hot Chili Peppers were like 698 or something like that on the list of 1001. And right below it, at 708, was Pavement, Slanted and Enchanted and Slanted or something like that. And I got the name wrong. But I meant to eliminate Blood, Sugar, Sex, and Magic. And they don't even spell magic right. They think, they just think they're too cool, and they're not. But I'm going to eliminate Red Hot Chili Peppers, Californication. Now, as someone that's lived my whole life in California, I don't need to hear about how much you love California. And I mean, obviously my California is completely different than theirs. I've lived my entire life in East Bakersfield and East LA. And lower income, maybe lower middle class, I would say, is the neighborhood I'm living in currently. But I pretty much lived in what a lot of people would call ghetto neighborhoods, almost my whole entire life. And so my experience of California might not be the same as everybody's, but those Red Hot Chili Pepper posers, I'm replacing them with some Texas guys, the Butthole Surfers and Rembrandt Pussy Horse. Now this album, it's got such great songs on it. It starts with Creep in the Cellar, and man, is it a creepy ass song, They do it's like an industrial version of American Woman. They do Whirling Hall of Knives, which is an instrumental, and it's like I said before, they're like a psychedelic punk band, and this is a fantastic album. And that's all I'm going to say. Now, this next one is Alice Cooper, School's Out. Now, what surprises me about this album being included is I think it's the weakest one. I mean, forget the two Zappa ones. I think School's Out is the weakest of their early stuff, I think Killers is way better. I think $1 Million Babies is way better. Love It to Death, I think, is better. And I'm not sure that those are even included. But anyway, School's Out a goner. Now, this has nothing to do. I'm trying to, relate these two albums. This one has nothing to do with it, but it came out around the same time. And it's Calvin Keys, Sean Neek, or whatever. This is a spiritual jazz record, guitar player. And this is my favorite album from Black Jazz. I have a number of their albums. For me, that label is hit and miss. Some of them I don't like at all. So I always listen to I stream it before I would buy their records. But this is my favorite. Now, he has a second album that I didn't care for as much, and I didn't buy it. But yeah, this is what they call spiritual jazz. Now, I made a comment on one of Metal Theologian's videos that I don't even know what spiritual jazz means. And that comment got me my first troll ever. Man, this guy was trolling my videos. Oh my God, it was funny. Fantastic album. Okay. Who's next? Haircut 100. I heard some of their singles. I haven't heard this album, Pelican West. It might be great. It's a little too... I don't know. I've heard their singles and they were okay, but they never got me to where, I want to buy the album. And I think a much better album from, early 80s. I think this came out in 81 maybe. It's Wall of Voodoo, Dark Continent. It's their second release. It was their first full length. And it's just fantastic. It has Back in Flesh, which was a single that was played on K-Rock. Red Light was another single that they played. But this has good songs, man, all the way through. It doesn't have a dud at all. Crack the Bell. And what distinguishes them, they kind of get categorized into that synthesizer, keyboard, 80s bands. But their guitar player is what kind of puts them, it differentiates them from all those others. He is a great guitar player, and also the singing of Stan Ridgway. Oh, we're getting to the end now. What's the next one? U2 War. This is an overrated album. It's got like anthem type songs, which for me kind of wear thin. And I saw them touring for this album, 80 whatever it was. And then I saw them probably 2011, 2012. And I must say, the 2012 concert blew the 1980s concert away. I know everybody says, "Oh, you gotta hear the early U2, you know, because they're wankers, you know, and now everybody knows they're wankers, so everybody loves to hate on U2. But concert-wise, they are way better now. Well, at least when I saw them in 2012, way better now than they were in the 80s. I mean, I think their best album is Octoon Baby. That's a great album. But I'm going to replace it, since it's like a early 80s. I think this one predates War, but I'm going to replace it with maybe the first goth album ever, Bauhaus, In a Flat Field. Just a fantastic album. Another album with it doesn't have a weak song on it. And yeah, it's just great. If you haven't heard this band, it's fantastic. Peter Murphy went solo. And then the other members, they created a band. What was it? I can't remember. But it wasn't as good as Bauhaus. But they weren't bad. And as soon as I'm done with this, I'll remember what the name of the band is. But it doesn't matter. The next one, Culture Club, Color by Numbers. Now, it's got Karma Chameleon, which it's an okay song. It's got that one, Time. Now, that's a great song. But it's an album. It's not something that you must hear before you die. But I'm going to replace it with Death in June, Brown Book. This is definitely an album that I think you should hear before you die. It's neo-folk, but it's more than that. And it's got some really creepy female vocals in it. I mean, she sounds like a Manson girl. And it's just, my wife goes, "Man, that's, what is that when I play this?" And that's a good thing, man. Yeah, this is fantastic. And my 25th, Loser. And it's appropriately Adele 25. Now, I had the first Adele album and her second album on CD. And actually, I think they're I really enjoyed them. I don't think she's quite as, she doesn't have the edge that Amy Winehouse had, but she was good, man. She had good songs. But by the time 25 came out, I don't know. I wasn't really into it. It seems like they made way too many, because I remember when I go to Walmart, most of the time I'll look through the records, and I would say up to a year or two ago, they still had a crap load of those. And I'm going to replace that one with I think a pretty recent, I don't know if it's a psychedelic masterpiece, but it's a masterpiece nonetheless, and it's Foxygen. We are the 21st century ambassadors of peace and magic. Just a fantastic album. And this is a great note to go out on. It's just one great song after another. It's got one song that sounds like Velvet Underground. You got San Francisco, which sounds like a 1960s, hippie psychedelic song or pop psychedelic song. Shuggy is a great song. It's just great, man. In the Darkness. Now I'm just listing songs, and if you haven't heard it, that's just kind of the most meaningless thing to do. But yeah, I recommend this. And that's my 25. Take care. 25 albums that are better than In Rainbows. Take care, everybody. I'll be back next with a video inspired by the Metal Theologian.